Although air and fuel vapour will burn when mixed in proportions ranging from between 8:1, which is rich, to 20:1, which is weak, complete combustion only occurs with an air-fuel ratio of 15:1 by weight. This is called the chemically correct ratio. At this ratio, all of the oxygen in the air combines with all of the hydrogen and carbon in the fuel. The chemically correct mixture does not, however, give the best results, because the temperature of combustion is so high that power can be lost through detonation. Detonation is a phenomenon usually associated with weak mixtures and high cylinder head temperatures. It's unstable combustion, or more simply, an explosion, which occurs after the normal ignition point. In normal conditions, the flame travels smoothly through the mixture as the advancing flame front heats the gases immediately ahead of it, so that they, in turn, burn. Progressively, more and more heat is concentrated in the flame front, which is brought to bear on the remaining unburnt portion of the mixture, termed the end gas, and its temperature is raised. In addition to this, the end gas is subjected to increasing pressure, partly from the fact that the piston is reducing the remaining space available, and partly because the burnt gases themselves are expanding. Ultimately, there can be sufficient pressure and heat available to bring all the end gas to the point of combustion at the same instant, and it will explode. The flame rate increases from its normal 60 to 80 feet per second to 1,000 feet per second, with a degree of violence that depends on the amount of end gas that remains. Because of the ringing nature of the noise produced by the explosion, it's sometimes called pinking, and it can be extremely harmful to the engine, particularly the piston crown, which may eventually burn away with the inevitable consequences. Reducing the temperature of the mixture, for instance by deselecting carburetor heat, or reducing cylinder head temperature by selecting a rich mixture, will both assist in preventing detonation. With a supercharged or turbocharged engine, reducing the boost pressure and increasing propeller RPM will also assist in preventing detonation. Pre-ignition is often confused with detonation, but it is vastly different. Whereas detonation occurs after the normal ignition point, pre-ignition, as inferred by its very name, occurs before the spark occurs at the plug. This is usually caused by a local hotspot in the combustion chamber, either a piece of incandescent carbon or perhaps very hot spark plug points. Pre-ignition will cause rough running and an inevitable loss of power. Although the chemically correct mixture strength would theoretically produce the highest temperature, and therefore power, in practice mixing and distribution are less than perfect, and this results in some parts of the mixture within the inlet manifold system being richer and others being weaker than the optimum strength. This variation may exist between one cylinder and another. A slightly rich mixture doesn't have much effect on power, since all the oxygen is still consumed, and the excess of fuel simply serves to slightly reduce the effective volumetric efficiency. In fact, its cooling effect can be, to some extent, beneficial. Weak mixtures, however, rapidly reduce power, since some of the inspired oxygen is not being utilized, and this power reduction is much greater than that resulting from slight richness. It is therefore quite common to run engines, when maximum power rather than best fuel economy is the objective, at somewhat richer than chemically correct mixtures, for example about 12.5:1, to ensure that no cylinder is left running at severely reduced power from its mixture being unduly weak. However, mixture requirement is ultimately dependent upon engine speed and power output. This diagram shows typical air-fuel mixture curves. Notice that a rich mixture is required for starting and slow running. This is because fuel will only burn when it has vaporized and is mixed with air. When starting, the engine is cold, and there is little heat to assist the vaporizing process. Therefore, only the lightest fractions of the fuel will vaporize. To make sure that there is sufficient fuel vapor in the cylinders to support combustion, a rich mixture is therefore required. When full power is selected for takeoff, the mixture must be enriched to about 10:1. Apart from the cooling effect, the excess fuel is wasted, for there is insufficient oxygen available for it to burn completely. The higher power results from a greater weight of charge induced in a given time, and not because of mixture enrichment. In practice, excess fuel vapor is not scavenged as vapor. The oxygen is shared out to some extent, so that carbon monoxide is produced during combustion as well as carbon dioxide. With very rich mixtures, some of the carbon fails to combine with oxygen at all, and is exhausted as black smoke. When higher power is required for climbing, the mixture is enriched to about 11:1. The extra fuel in vaporizing cools the mixture and reduces the tendency to detonate. The cruise portion of the diagram shows that it is really the only time the pilot has any choice in what mixtures are set. If time is no object, then during cruising flight only moderate power is required from the engine. Thus an economy cruise setting can be used. Fuel consumption will decrease accordingly. On the other hand, if speed is of the essence, then performance cruise power can be selected. The fuel consumption will of course rise, in some cases by as much as 20%. Because the density of the air decreases with increase of altitude, as the aircraft altitude increases, the weight of air drawn into the cylinder decreases. For a given intake velocity, the pressure drop in the carburetor venturi will decrease as ambient density decreases. However, the fuel flow due to this pressure drop will not decrease by the same proportion, and so the mixture will become richer. If we are not to use too much fuel when flying at altitude, then it becomes imperative that we have some method of defining and regulating the mixture strength. There are two approved methods of setting the desired mixture strength. The first method presumes some knowledge of the effects that mixture change will have on the engine. Bear in mind that as the mixture control is moved from fully rich to a weaker setting, the air-fuel ratio approaches the chemically correct value of approximately 15:1. At this ratio, all of the air and fuel are consumed, and the heat released by combustion is at its maximum. More heat means more power. With a fixed-pitch propeller, the RPM will rise, and airspeed will increase as more power is produced. If the mixture is weakened even more, the RPM will drop. Pushing the mixture control back to where the chemically correct mixture was found will bring the engine speed back up, but this cannot be maintained without risking the generation of detonation. To prevent this happening, the mixture control should be moved to a slightly richer position when the RPM will fall slightly. The exhaust gas temperature gauge consists of a thermocouple fitted into the exhaust pipe of the hottest cylinder on the engine. The thermocouple produces a voltage directly proportional to its temperature. The voltage is indicated on a gauge calibrated to show exhaust gas temperature. If the mixture control is moved towards lean, the temperature will peak at the ratio of 15:1. It should be remembered that this ratio should not be used, as detonation can occur. Upon reaching the peak EGT, the mixture control should then be moved towards rich, and the cylinder head temperature will drop. The aircraft's flight manual will specify a temperature drop which will give the rich cruise setting.